man what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justice, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. See, oftentimes we think that the opposite of justice is mercy. We equate mercy as being kind of the soft side, and justice is the hard side, and therefore they're opposites. They're really two sides of the same coin. The opposite of justice is not mercy. The opposite of justice is injustice. The opposite of mercy is coldness, harshness, lack of compassion. Justice and mercy are in fact symbiotic. One is necessary for the survival of the other. You cannot have one without the other. We are called to do justice and to love mercy and to walk humbly with our God. If we did that as Christians, we would have conflicts. They would arise, but they would be resolved in the proper way. Similarly, truth and love are symbiotic. Ephesians 4:15 tells us that we grow in Christ when we speak the truth in love. Again, and we'll see here in a few minutes, you can't have one without the other. First of all, we'll see you can't have truth without love. Look at the right side of your chart there, where it says attack responses. And in that section over, that darker brown section over there, write the word love and draw a slash through it. Because there is no love over here. It disappears very quickly. When a case is litigated, when it's in trials, the job of the attorney is to battle to show his client's side of the truth. To get all doubts resolved in your client's favor. To put everything in a light that is most favorable to your client. Frequently, just about always, it is necessary to attack the credibility of the other side, because the other side is just doing exactly the opposite. Now, this is a way of getting to a truth of sorts, because obviously at this point, the parties aren't going to agree on anything. They're going to agree on very little. But if you take this and you put this in the personal context, let's see how that works. For example, let's say, have you ever heard of someone who had a list of gripes against someone else that was just a mile long? Petty complaints, nitpicking perhaps. In fact, we can see that anybody in any relationship at any given time can come up with a list like that. Guys, if your wife really wanted to, she could come up with a huge list of your imperfections, your weaknesses, and your annoying habits. Okay? It could happen. It would happen. If that's what they wanted to do, if all they wanted to do was focus on the bad, you come up with a huge list. Ladies, kids, mom and dad, whoever's in that relationship with you, the same is true. Every single one of us is human. We all have weaknesses. And if you have that list and you bring it out, you would see that every single thing on that list may be accurate in itself. By itself, it may be an accurate statement. But when you take that list, you couldn't really say that that list was truthful as a whole, because that list would not paint an accurate picture of who that person was. And it's the same thing with litigation. People come out bloodied and bruised. And there is a lacking of love there. And because of the lack of love, what you end up with cannot really be called truth. There is no truth without love. That is distortion. Similarly, staying over there on the attack responses on the right-hand side, we can see that there is no justice without mercy. That is hell. Frequently, when we say we want justice, what we really want is vengeance, or vindication, or just a pound of flesh. But how does this fit with our core biblical beliefs? The core doctrine of salvation is that we're saved by grace. Justice without mercy would mean hell for everyone. Only God has the right to demand ultimate justice without mercy. Because God has the authority of damnation. The word damnation is profane if used in any way where someone is acting as though they have the authority to take it upon themselves to damn someone or something to hell. Because they are claiming the authority of God. There is no justice without mercy. That is hell. On your right-hand side, where you've taken love and put it in there and drew a line through it, do the same thing with mercy. Write mercy over there in attack responses and draw a line through it, because there's no mercy over there. Let's go over to the left side, the blue section. Here we will see that there is no mercy without justice. That is weakness. In Proverbs 27, we see that as iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. We also see that the wounds of a friend are faithful. Standing by and pretending as if there is no problem, there is no sin, there is nothing that needs to be corrected, you can't call that mercy, because you're turning your back on justice. We have a responsibility to deal with certain conflicts, to edify one another. Sometimes that comes in the form of just encouraging one another. Sometimes that comes in the form of loving confrontation. We must stand firm and sharpen each other. We must stand for our core values. We must stand for biblical truth. Because there is no mercy without justice. That is weakness. On the left-hand side, in the blue, write the word justice and draw a line through it. Because in those responses, denial, flight, and suicide, there is no justice. Denial and flight. Denial, pretending as if there is no conflict. Flight, some escaping in some way so that you can pretend as if there was no conflict.